You look behind me, you'll see my delivery vehicle. This is the only vehicle I have currently, both as a personal and work vehicle, that is operating. I do have another Toyota van, which is not currently operating. So I have a few minutes here because I'm waiting on a customer. Actually, I've been waiting on him for over 2 hours now, which is okay. That's what happens sometimes. And it can get pretty complicated because I'm not really waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to be able to contact the seller of his item, who is here in Big Lake, Minnesota. And that item's going down towards the Chicago area. And it's worth it to me to take that. I thought I was just going to be driving empty back home to Michigan, and this adds about $250 on the trip. So considering that it really shouldn't add much for either pickup or drop off, because those are right along the way, what it's adding is the time that it takes to wait for him to get this figured out. And you know, as the business owner who's waiting around, it feels like this should be happening faster, you know, and maybe it should. Maybe his seller could just say, hey, here's my address, come on over. But instead he's trying to get his kids around, focus on other things. Maybe he feels pressured, who knows? So maybe he's kind of being a stick in the mud, who knows? I really don't know what's going on. Maybe he's, you know, got some sort of ideal in his mind of, I need to be able to do X, Y, and Z before I'm bothered with this. And actually, you know, this buyer is making things happen to get him the sale, and he doesn't have to do a whole lot when I show up. He doesn't really have to do anything if he doesn't want to. I can take care of loading up this item on my own. If he just points at it, I've got it from there. But for whatever reason, it's taken over 2 hours now, and it sounds like my customer, the buyer, has been in contact and is trying to make things happen, and the hang up is with the communication from the seller of the item. But these things do happen, and as I've mentioned at other times, I do have to make a judgment call at some point and say, hey, if I'm losing a whole day over this, I didn't sign up to do this. I didn't say it was worth it to me to lose an entire day over it. I said it was worth it to me to pick it up on my way through. And so at some point I can make a judgment call and say, sorry, I'm canceling. I'm not quite there yet. I do understand that this person, you know, has a family, has things going on in their life that are much bigger and more important than quickly accommodating this one pickup of this one item. And so, you know, as the business owner who's sitting around, I have to make a decision, and I have to decide, really, am I going to be patient or not? Am I going to take an attitude where my timeline, my schedule is the only important thing here, and I'm going to be impatient and cancel on the person if it doesn't happen really quickly? Or am I going to give them the benefit of the doubt within reason, assume that, you know, they're going to do what they say they're going to do and get the kids ready, do whatever they're doing, and then call that buyer back and get this to happen? So if I'm too patient, I can sometimes end up getting pushed around and kind of strung along for things that don't happen. But if I'm not patient enough, then I could end up missing out on $250 over what is really just a matter of waiting a couple hours and maybe finding something productive to do in that time, which is what I'm aiming for here, and making this video for. So the actual topic I intended for this video was not really about the process of waiting to pick something up, but it's fine that that's what I ended up talking about for a bit, because that's a valid thing that you experienced in this type of work, particularly. As I usually say in most of my videos, you know, maybe other people have figured out ways of going about things that are different than how I go about it, and maybe other people are in the same industry, in the same business, and not running into this situation at all ever just because of how they go about it, and that's really cool, if so. But this is something that I experience fairly often with what I'm doing. But back to the car, which was going to be the original topic of the video. Why am I using that car? Well, I'm using it because it's the vehicle I have that's running and working. No other reason in particular. There's a couple of benefits of it. It's paid off, it's paid for. I still need to put some work into that vehicle, but I'm able to do that a little bit at a time because it is running and working and making money. So biggest things are it's paid for. That's really huge because it's easy for the paycheck. It's easy for the incoming money to look better with a bigger vehicle, but it's also easy for it to not actually be better if half of it's going to pay for that vehicle every month. Car is actually pretty capable. It can't do all the jobs that are out there, but I don't have time to do all the jobs that are out there anyway. And it seems to be able to do enough jobs that I can stay as busy as I want to be, or more busy than I want to be. And what else? It's working. That's kind of the bottom line of it, is that I have consistently, since I've purchased that car and since I've used that car, I have consistently been doing well on incoming versus outgoing money. And the bottom line of a business is that you have greater incoming than outgoing money. And I think that can be a little bit complex. That can be a little more nuanced than that, because, you know, if I had a little bit more outgoing money for a time, but I was confident that as a result I would have a great amount of incoming money, or a much better ratio in the near future, you know, it would be better to struggle through a short time period of more outgoing money and then land on a lot of incoming money and very little outgoing, and, you know, really big margin. And that would be better than kind of making just a little more incoming than outgoing and being stagnant at that for a long period of time. And that is my main concern with using this car, is what if, you know, what if the ceiling is here with the car, and, you know, that feels pretty good when I've for a long time had more outgoing than incoming with my trucks. But what if the ceiling is here with the car and it will always be here, and the ceiling with a larger, more capable vehicle is way up here, and I just have to get through that initial phase in order to get there. And then, you know, my lifestyle could be so much more comfortable, and my work could be so much less, and the incoming money could be so much greater with a more capable vehicle. Because let's be honest, even though the car is impressive for what it is, it's not nearly as capable as many vehicles that I could be using. So I think from a more nuanced point of view, that's kind of my concern with the car. But in the immediate, I just have to kind of admit the car has done better for me as far as keeping me with more incoming than outgoing over the last 3 months. And so although I could aim for something different and aim for something more capable and aim for a higher incoming to outgoing ratio, for the moment I have to admit that the car is meeting my needs, or I am somehow meeting my needs with the car better than I was with my truck. So that's what I will continue to use, and also try to make a solid plan for how I might transition into a more capable vehicle and trailer in the near future. And some exciting news that I have not yet shared, and I've mentioned it in previous clips, but those clips actually aren't up on YouTube yet because they're going to be edited into part of these video diaries that I'll get up in theory soon. That's what tomorrow is supposed to be for. Saturday is, at one point I set aside Saturday as a day to make videos, and I haven't been doing that well for the last 3 months because I actually worked a 9 to 5. Well, I worked a day job, and then I was doing my transports on weekends. So my Saturday that was supposed to be for videos and Sunday that was supposed to be for rest wasn't happening. And now I've kind of flipped that, where I'm trying to do all this work on the road Monday through Friday, so I get double the amount of time to actually do this work, which I consider my primary source of income. And then I have weekends off, Saturday to work on videos, Sunday to actually just rest and do family things, stuff like that. So those video clips aren't up yet, but I've mentioned in a couple of them there's some changes coming up, some things I've recognized are necessary and important to me to change, and there's been some motion and progress also towards that. I have a website up and running. It's actually www.senditdelivery.co. Don't put in .com, it won't take you to my website. Senditdelivery.co. And I've gotten a couple of cold calls about transports recently, and so far I haven't been able to take either one. The first one I wasn't able to take because I had a prior commitment, and I thought about changing the dates around on that prior commitment, but I realized I have a really good established customer. That's the customer who I bring fryers to Chicago for. He's a really good established customer, and although, because he's a really good, nice person, it would have been fine if I had called him and said, hey, I need to push back by a day. I just decided not to do that to him. I decided to prioritize my established customer over trying to earn a new customer. I told the potential customer, here's my price. I thought it was a very reasonable price for what it was. I think 5 semi tires from basically Hillsdale, Michigan over to the Detroit area. I quoted him $200 for it. I could have done that with that car and trailer. But I said, but I'm not available tomorrow. He was really trying to get someone for the following day. I said, I'm not available tomorrow. Is there another time this week that could work? He did not respond to me at all. He didn't even say, no, sorry, only tomorrow. That makes me feel like I'm not missing out on much. I chose to prioritize a customer who I know is responsive. I know he is reliable. I know he's consistent. I know that he continues to get more work for me, and he communicates. And I think that was the right choice, because I lost a customer who didn't even have the time of day to say, sorry, that won't work. And when a customer won't communicate, during that initial phase, there's always the potential that they won't communicate either at a more crucial phase. Like, what if when I'm trying to go pick up his items for him, all of a sudden there's a communication issue. And I've invested the time and energy and, postponed another delivery to go get this for somebody who doesn't know how to communicate. And I think, most people, even who drop communication like that, it was just a matter of, oh, this guy can't meet my needs, forget about him. And he moved on. And that's fine. I think that there is a value to being polite and just, just letting that person know just through a quick text. Sorry, that won't work. Thank you, though. But, I think he would have been communicative if I had been actually trying to get his shipment done for him, because that offers people some incentive. But I don't regret the choice I made, but I do see that there was a cold call. It was probably off my website because it came from the 517 area code, and my website is in the 517 area. And I don't really have a presence in any other way in that area. So that seems to have been a cold call, probably directed through my website. And then I had another one yesterday. This was a woman who wanted a vehicle moved from Saline, Michigan to Hudson, Michigan. Also in that, she was calling from a 517 number also. And so I assumed that was also through my website. She also called and she's kind of like, do you, have a service where you pick up a vehicle and move it? Sounded like someone who had found me while searching for that specific type of service in that specific area, probably through my website. And unfortunately I had to tell her, yes, I can do it, but here's my price, and to be honest with you, you can find it cheaper. And she knew she could find it cheaper. And I actually recommended to her that she look elsewhere, or that she look into having someone she knows with a truck just rent a trailer. And I told her I'd give her a good recommendation on where to rent that trailer. DDT Rentals in Detroit. Even though it's a little bit of a drive for her, they'll set her up with the right equipment, with a winch, because it's a non-running vehicle. So, a U-Haul trailer rental isn't really the right choice for that. You can make it work, but they'll set you up. It'll cost a little more, but they'll set you up with the right trailer with a winch for that vehicle. And I knew I wasn't going to be the best value to her, so I was happy to, recommend and help direct her where she can get a better value. But that's another bit of evidence that if I own a truck and trailer, just a very basic setup, very, very basic setup, truck, trailer with a winch, capable of hauling one vehicle, then I could have given her a pretty reasonable price that also would have been an amount of money that I was quite happy with for that. I think $250. I quoted $5 because I have to rent the truck and trailer myself. And I actually would have only been seeing $200 or just under $200 after that cost. If I owned those things, $250, and in theory, all that $250 is going to me, but in reality, some of that $250 is going towards the cost of owning that truck and trailer. Because when you rent a truck and trailer, yeah, there's a cost to it, but you're also saving a separate cost. You're taking on the cost of renting, but you're saving the cost of owning. Cost of owning is less than the cost of renting, because if you think about it, whoever you're renting from, if they're pricing it correctly, they're paying their cost of owning and then some. But bottom line, $250 price I would have been super happy with, and which I think would have been a competitive good value for her for what she's asking for transport of a non-running vehicle from A to B. I think I would have been beating any tow companies out there. Could be wrong. I think I would have been beating a broker's price. A broker might have paid less than $250 on it, but the total cost to her probably still would have been $250 or even more. So I think I would have been competitive at that cost. And I wasn't able to offer it because I don't own the right equipment. So that's a good plug for getting that right equipment, but there's that upfront cost that I'm not prepared for at the moment. So I also got a shipment for this upcoming week that is a canopy going from lifts, ladders, and docks in Schoolcraft, Michigan, just south of Kalamazoo. Great small family-run business, really nice people, really great people to work with. They've been working with me for a couple of years now and gradually increasing the number and types of items that they're handing off to me to do. This one is a 13-foot long canopy, bundled up. It's gonna fit on the trailer with slight overhang. They know about that. This is a business that knows and has seen the vehicles and equipment that I use, and so there's no confusion or disappointment there when I pull up with a Corolla and a 10-foot trailer. And I told him when he called that it's a 10-foot trailer. He said that's okay, there can be some overhang, and that is correct. There can be up to 4 feet of overhang legally without any special markings on it or anything else. So that's happening next week. I quoted $250 to bring it from Schoolcraft to Mansalona, Michigan, and then he came back with, I need you to bring the damaged one that it's replacing back to me, $350 for the whole thing. And I said, that's cool, because I live close enough to Schoolcraft that it's almost like just an extra $100, not for free, because everything costs money. It costs time to go over there, but it's in the ballpark of running an errand rather than doing a job. So just I got to shoot over to Schoolcraft at some point, drop that off. And I told him, it's going to be a couple days. I'm going to be visiting my dad up in Ludington. So earliest I'll have that damaged one back to you is like Thursday afternoon, maybe Friday. Gave myself lots of flexibility there, and that's cool. This is a customer I have that relationship with, that they're not stressed about it, and that works out great. So good things are happening. My big thing, and this is the big overarching lesson that I'm taking away, where I want to go with my business. I want to feel like I'm helping people locally and further away too, like this drop off I did last night, Sync up to Park Rapids, Minnesota. Great customer, great drop off, and I feel like I'm just helping her get something that she wants from farther away, and that's what I want to feel like. I don't want to feel like I'm chasing money, chasing the best possible loads, chasing anything. I'm here to help people get stuff done that they need to get done and make a reasonable, fair living in the process. So I think that means transitioning more towards local work. Feel like I'm helping people do jobs that are a little bit outside their capabilities or their equipment, or whatever. And all I'm doing is showing up, helping them get the job done, getting paid for it. So to me, that means a lot more local work. You gotta bring some stuff to the dump, and I can come load it up on a trailer, bring it to the dump. You gotta clean up your yard and get that scrap over to the scrap yard. I can do that. You got an armchair that you just purchased, and the delivery fee is really high through that business. I can run over to that furniture store for you, pick up the armchair, get it to your house, and help you bring it in your home. Things like that, kind of small local work. Or you bought a car, it's not running, just like this scenario with the woman who called me out of Hudson. You bought a car, it's not running, you need to get it to your home. Or your car stopped running, you need to get it into the shop, and it costs a lot of money to have a tow company do that. I can come do it. And I can charge something that I'm happy with, and where I'm maybe making as much or more money as I'm currently making, but instead of running all over the US, I'm running a couple people's cars to or from the shop in a day, staying local, getting up at a normal time, going to bed at a normal time, having normal hours off, or maybe slightly irregular hours off, but at least it's time that I can spend at home. Like right now, I'm not at home. I gotta find something to do away from home to try to make use of the time and get value out of the time. But if I'm at home, I can work on a project at home that actually benefits me long term and makes my own place more of what I want it to be long term. And so that's a huge value to me. Even if my hours are irregular, even if it's, you know, I go out and pick someone's vehicle up whenever they need that, then, and I'm just kind of around at home doing whatever until I get that call, that's fine. I'm at home, so whatever I'm doing and working on is something that I want to do and work on for me in my own home. And so that's what I'm aiming for. I'm seeing that the website, I think, has been promising already, even though it's not nearly what I want it to be right now. Actually, the wording on it sounds like it was generated by ChatGPT or whatever. And it sounds like, I mean, if I was on the website, I'd be like, was this even written by a real person? Which is fine, because it was developed by a third party, which got it up and going, because I wasn't getting it up and going on my own. I didn't have time. I'm paying mostly for the service of having a website in existence and having it hosted by this company, which is called Zing, which has been pretty good so far. That's all I'll really say on it, but they've been pretty decent so far. And now I have the option to kind of go in and edit that website myself or submit edits to them, which is on me to take the time to at least draft out exactly what I want and say, please make it like this. I want to put things in my own words, not have it sound like it was generated by AI and a person maybe kind of giving it the parameters. So there's work to be done, but I'm seeing a positive trajectory there. And you know, my goal really is to get more stable in a specific location, have a home and be at home most of the time. I'll still do cross-country runs when someone, you know, an existing customer reaches out and needs it or wants it, and I can accommodate it and they are okay with the price that I need to make it worth it to me. All those things happen, line up. Sure, I'll make a cross-country trip, absolutely. I'd like to hire people eventually and maybe have a dedicated team going cross-country. Those are long-term goals. I'd like to have a company that can handle any of your transport needs, anytime, anywhere, any place, any accommodations, whatever. I'd like to be able to do it all and be able to pay people fair wages for the work that they put in to make that happen. That's my big long-term goal as a business owner. Right now, my goal is to pay myself reasonably for the work that I do and have a fair work-life balance for myself. And so that's what I'm really working on right now. Let's get this up on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your watch hours. I've taken a bunch of videos down and trying to rebrand myself the way I actually want to be, which is a little more intentional and more focused on a work-life balance that actually works, instead of just being like, look at me running all over the country, working extremely hard. You know, there's nothing really to glorify about that at all, and I don't want my channel to give the wrong impression. that's a stage that many people who've built successful businesses seem to have gone through and gotten through and come out on the other side with something that really serves them well. But right now my focus is on coming out with something that serves me well. And I don't want my channel to seem to be promoting anything other than doing work. You know, I'm here to work. I am here to do jobs, get work done. I'm not here to get anything for free, but I'm also, you know, I'm here to try to pay myself fairly for the work that I do. And a lot of, you know, my customers and the people who will remain my customers are in for that. They're here for that. They want that both for themselves and for whoever they're hiring for any job. So that's the real message of my channel I want to focus on. You know, let's show the jobs, let's show the work that I'm doing. It's cool, it's varied, it's whatever, but bottom line, I don't want to dramatize anything really at all. I'm not here for drama at this point on my channel, even if it might generate clicks and generate views and whatever. I'm really not here for any unnecessary drama, just the normal positive drama, I guess, of doing jobs that are interesting in and of themselves to some extent. But outside of that, I just want to show up, get a job done, get paid, move on. Doesn't need to be any more dramatic, complicated, or whatever. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. So thanks for watching. Again, appreciate your views on my channel, and stay tuned for these, you know, these changes that should be coming up. And I appreciate your support and encouragement from any of you along the way.